Hey everybody, it's Lisa from the Silver Farmhouse. We are going to make a sunflower out of a lunch bag. So I'm just using regular lunch bags. These are 5 1/8 inch by 3 1/8 inch by 10 5/8 inch. Regular lunch bags. What you're going to do is you're going to take your lunch bag. You're going to cut the bottom right off your lunch bag. This is like the bottom of the lunch bag. Find your seam in your lunch bag. There's a seam, cut right up the seam. Open up your lunch bag. Take whatever color yellow paint you would like to use. I'm going to use Apple Barrel's Bright Yellow. And I am not even going to put this in something. We are just going to squirt it right onto our bag, a little bit. Take yourself a little thicker of a paintbrush and paint your paint right onto your bag. Now listen. My bags that I am painting, of course, you know, are going to be the petals to the sunflower. So if you like your sunflowers nice and full with lots of petals, you may want to do yourself up some bags. Depends on how many petals you're going to make and how big your petals are going to be. Is how many bags you're going to use. So I can't give you an estimate on how many bags you're going to use. I would definitely paint yourself up 2 or 3 to make one sunflower. Just get it all coated with yellow paint, like so, and let it dry. All right, once you have your 3 lunch bags painted up, your bright yellow, and they are dried, we're going on to our grunging step, because these are going to be primitive sunflowers. If you don't want a primitive sunflower, you can skip this next step that we're going to do. But what I'm going to use is some Waverly antiquing wax that I actually get from Walmart. I dump a little bit in my lid. Get yourself a paper towel to blot on. And get yourself one of these little brushes. I don't even know what they're really called, but Walmart does sell them. Dip your brush into your lid. And then blot it onto your paper towel. And then what you're going to do is you're going to rub. So you're going for, you can even dip back in your paper towel if it's really saturated and wet. What you're going for is a little bit of a grungy brown look. I'm going to hold this up and show you. There is a difference. We did one side. Now we're going to do the other. And just a little pressure. Once you blot, there's not much on there. So you want to give it a little pressure. So we have it grunged up with some brown. Now, get yourself an ink pad. Just a regular black ink pad. I get mine at Hobby Lobby, but Michael's does sell them. And a little sponge. This is a kitchen sponge that I cut in half. Rub your sponge into your ink pad. And then gently rub here and there. And you're going to see you get those nice dark black marks. Nice dark black marks. So we're going to do the other side too. You don't want to cover the entire thing. You just want some spots darker than the rest. So this is all grunged up now. Okay, you're all grunged up. Now, get yourself some scissors. We're going to start cutting our petals. So what you're going to do is one half is going to be one petal. The other half will be the other petal. So we're going to start this half and we're going to cut a little bit bigger petals. Because your bigger petals are going to be your first row for your sunflower. That was my dog. So all you do is just cut a petal. Doesn't matter. You can make them how big you want to make them. It's going to be totally up to you. Don't worry about the unfinished edge. My petal is roughly 5 inches tall by about 2 1/4 inches wide. Okay, that's roughly my petal. They're not all going to be the same. We're just going to start. And we're going to do this side, bigger petals. Now, you have 3 sheets that you need to grunge up. And then 3 sheets you're going to need to cut petals out of. 2 sheets, I cut big petals like this on one side. So on 2 of your sheets, you're going to cut some big petals on one side. And we're going to do smaller, thinner petals on the other side. They don't have to be perfect, guys. If you really botch it up, You could trim it after it's cut out. Just go with it. It's supposed to be fun. So I got about 5. You can get, no, I got 7 petals out of this. I got 7 petals out of this side. Now we're going to flip it over and we're going to do smaller petals. A little bit skinnier. Maybe not as tall. You make your petals how you want to make them. Maybe you want super duper skinny ones. Maybe you want super thick ones. Going to be totally up to you. I did a little array of both. I did some thicker, some thinner. They don't all have to be the same. Just cut your petals out. This one I kind of botched up a little bit. I got a little thing here, so I'm just going to take it. I'm going to trim it off. I used 3 sheets to make my sunflower petals. So you may want to make sure you paint up 3 lunch bags to get a nice full sunflower. And I did separate my petals. So one side has big petals, the other side is a little bit thinner petals. I did kind of keep them separated. My bigger ones for my first row, and then these will be the ones that I fill in on the other top rows. So 2 of them, you're going to want to do this way. Big petals on one side, skinnier petals on the other. The third one, you could just do all skinny petals. Okay? This is my third one I did. It was all skinny petals. I didn't worry about super thick petals. 2 of them, super thick petals. 1, you could do all skinny petals. And then I just separated them. I separated them into my thick petals, and I separated them into my skinny petals. Voila! Petals are all cut out. Move on to making our center circle that is going to be for our sunflowers and add our petals. So I have a little bowl here. I will measure this bowl for you to give you an estimate. My bowl is roughly about a 4.5-inch bowl. Little plastic kitchen bowl. Piece of cardboard, just regular cardboard, Amazon box, whatever you want to use. If it's printed, it's okay. It doesn't matter if it has printing on it. Lay your bowl down. Trace your circle around your bowl. Now, you can either cut this out with an X-Acto knife or razor blade. I have a pair of scissors here that I love to use for cardboard. Really, I use it for cardboard and like the aluminum pans if I want to cut them. So I'm just going to cut my circle out right on my trace line. So you can either use a razor blade, or if you have an older pair of scissors that you don't mind roughing up, and just use them for cardboard or aluminum. I use these to cut screen. I got them at Walmart. They're Westcott's. Cut your cardboard circle out. Once your circle is cut out, we're going to get our petals now, and we're going to start placing our petals right onto our cardboard circle. No need to paint the circle. No need to paint it. So, now listen, one more step before, that is my dog squeaking his ball. One more step. Of course, you know, Lisa lost her rusty wire. If you want to put a hanger on these so that you can hang them on a tree or make a garland out of them, get yourself either floral wire, rusty wire, or you could use jute. I'm using rusty wire, and I'm going to tell you, learning from experience, that you need to put your rusty wire onto your circle first if you're using any kind of wire. If you want a wire hanger so you can hang it up, I suggest you putting it on now before you put your petals on. So basically, it's just a piece of rusty wire. I use 18 to 20 gauge. You poke it through your cardboard, you bring it up, and you just kind of like bread tie it, like a bread tie. And you're going to just go over to the other side and make yourself a hanger. Voila! You have your hanger already on your cardboard. Now that you have your hanger on your cardboard, let's start adding our sunflower petals. Get yourself a hot glue gun. And we're just going to start adding glue to the back of our big petals. Now, these are the big petals. These are going to be the first row. Add yourself some hot glue, and then just start placing your petals, okay? So I went in about 1 inch. Don't worry about the unfinished edge. You're going to want to overlap these. Add a little glue onto the back and overlap your petals. My glue is very hot. And this is what we're going to do all the way around for the first row, because our first row is going to be our bigger petals. And what's great about these is that they're very inexpensive to make. I'm overlapping, so you want to overlap your petals. They're very inexpensive to make. They're great on a tree if you have an everyday tree that you change out for the holidays, which I do. Fall is coming. So we are going to start doing a fall tree here at the Silver Farmhouse. Or you could put these on a piece of jute rope and make a garland. You can also use them if you like to make wreaths. If you like to make wreaths and you like to put like a big decoration piece on them, these are great for them too. And I will also say, they may even sit well in a tier tray. So I have a few extra big ones. I'm just going to add them on top. Don't waste your petals. Just keep going. I'm kind of going in between petals as I go. Ooh, that glue is hot. So I'm kind of just still going in between the petals. As I'm going, we're just going to keep going in between petals to give it fullness. We're working on giving it fullness. All right, so we have all our big petals on. We have our whole row. We have a little bit extra. We added them on. You have your whole row of big petals. Now, we're going to go to our smaller petals. And we are going to start adding our smaller petals right on top of our bigger petals. Add a little bit of glue. Place them on. You can come in a little bit as you work your rows if you want to. And I'll show you what I mean by come in a little bit. Let me just get a few of them going on here. You can come in like a 1/4 inch on your next row if you want to. Bring them in a little bit and just keep adding your petals. Another thing is, if they do sell kids cool glue guns, if you have grandchildren that like to make things, you can order them off. I order mine off Amazon. It's called a cool glue gun. It does not get hot. It gets like somewhat a little bit warm, but not hot at all. And they can help you glue petals on by simply ordering them a glue gun. I've only ever seen them on Amazon. I have not seen them in Hobby Lobby, Joann's, or Michael's. So again, we're just going around and around until we get all our petals on. We have lots of petals here. So just keep going. Now I'm leaving my center open like this. And there'll be a reason why. Don't go in anymore. Leave yourself a good little center there, okay? Because the next step we're going to do is we're going to make the centerpiece for the center of the sunflower, like where the seeds would be. And that's going to be our next step for this sunflower. Just keep adding petals on top of petals on top of petals. You want a nice full sunflower, because the fuller they are, the better they look. The fuller they are, the better they look. And I love sunflowers for fall because you can keep them up right through Thanksgiving. You can keep them up right through Thanksgiving. It's not like Halloween decorations where you have to take them down right after October. These you can sit out right until Thanksgiving. And just store them away in a plastic container so they don't get squished. Because remember, these are only paper, okay? We're working with paper here. Paper, but a super duper beautiful, inexpensive craft. Do you see how pretty that's coming out? We don't have many more to go. So pretty. Coming out so pretty. Keep adding your petals. And then once we're finished with the petals, I'll show you what the next step will be. Which you're going to need 2 more lunch bags, some brown paint, and some black paint. Because we are going to focus on making the center of our sunflower next. You don't need a lot of glue either. A little drop will do. Don't go crazy with your glue, just a little drop. I have some glue strings going on here because my glue gun's cooling down. My glue gun is cooling down. Okay. Of course, you're going to want to pull off all your glue strings when you're done, but for the sake of this video, I'm just going to show you. It's a nice, full sunflower that we got going on there. Let's make the center of the sunflower now. Grab yourself another lunch bag. You're going to need 2 lunch bags because you need to make 2 of these. Cut your bottom off again. Look for your seam on your lunch bag and cut up the seam. You need 2 of these, okay? I'm only gonna do 1, but you need 2. Lay it out flat. Get yourself some brown paint. I'm using Real Brown by Apple Barrel. And I'm just going to use black by Apple Barrel. Get yourself a little bit thicker of a paintbrush because it's a lot quicker. It goes a lot smoother to use a thicker paintbrush. Open up your bag. Take your Real Brown. Give it a drizzle. Give it a drizzle. Your black. A couple little dabs. One here, one here, one here, one here. There you go. Not too much black, more brown than black. Make sure you have enough paint. Because the whole thing is you want this to kind of have a streaky look to it. And if you don't put enough paint on, it's not going to have that streaky look. So what you do is just start brushing. Start brushing. You don't have to go right to the edge. I find not going to the edge, I'm a little neater. Then you don't make a mess on your counters or... So you notice I'm not really going over back and forth too much. Whoops. I have enough paint on here that I'm not going to go back and forth too much. If you feel you didn't have enough paint on here, just drizzle a little bit more brown. Because your goal is not to make this black. It's to make it look brown and black. And if you go over it too much, you're not going to get that look. Voila. Do you see how it's streaky with some brown and some black? That's your goal. Not to just keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and making the whole thing the color black. You kind of want a little brown and a little black look going on. Let this side dry. Once your side is dry, it's hard to see with the glare, but you can see there's brown and black in there. Let's put this one over here. Once your side is dry, do the same to the other side. They take a little bit to dry. Give yourself a drizzle of brown. Give yourself a little bit of black. And work it in. Notice I'm just brushing back and forth. Wherever the black is, the black is. Wherever the brown is, the brown is. There's no trying to blend it. Just brush. The more paint you have, the less you're going to have to work the colors together. Okay? You don't want so much that it's going to be puddles, but... And you have your other side, black and brown. Once it's totally dry, like I have this one, both sides, we're going to cut it up. Now remember, you need 2 of these. Both sides done on 2 lunch bags. Take your scissors, cut off all your edging that you didn't get the paint on. I didn't go to the very edge because I didn't want to make a huge mess that I had to clean up on my counter. You can go to the edge if you want to go right to the edge. It's going to be totally up to you. But I just went partially to the edge. Okay, I have my bag cut here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 6 strips. Doesn't matter. You can take an eyeball on how many you'll get 6 strips out of. I'll give you an estimate on what mine are, but they're not all the same. This one's 3 inches. This one's 2 3/4 inches. So just a rough estimate. Stack them all on top of one another. Again, they don't have to be perfectly sized, okay? Stack them on top of one another. Now cut them in 3. 1, 2, 3. Voila. These are what we're going to work. Our center of our sunflower now. Bring your sunflower back out that we have partially done. What you're going to do, remember, 2 of these you have. You have to cut 2 of these. You're not going to have enough with just 1 bag. You'll have some left over with 2, but you're not going to have enough with 1. Let me get a glue stick ready. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the square you have, 1 square, not 2, add a little drop of glue to the back. Just a little drop of glue. Pick a point on your sunflower that you want to start your center. Glue that down, and then you're going to squish it up and get glue all over your fingers. And you're gonna squish it up. So I kind of went where my sunflowers kind of ended here, is where I'm starting my row. So you see, you just glue it down and squish it. Glue it down and then squish it up. We're gonna do this with all of these. Next one, add your glue. Put it right next to your glue, right next to where you just ended that other one. Push it down with your finger and then squish it up. Okay? That's all we're doing. Right next to each other. My dog is barking out on the front porch. Again, I'm taking my finger on the glue. I'm going to push it right next to the one we just placed. And I'm going to squish it up. There must be somebody walking their dogs outside. And we're just going to keep going around and around and around. If your glue gun is hot like mine, please be careful. You want to make a circle. They gotta be barking at someone, right? They gotta be barking at someone. And again, just squish. Once you have it glued down, squish. We're going in a circle. Continue until you get a full circle. Now that you have your full circle formed, let's start with another inner circle here. We're going to keep on going. We're going to add a little drop of glue to the back. Same thing. You're going to go right up against the ones that you have your first circle. So you're just going to push it right up against, glue it down, and squish it. Right up against these ones we're going. Little drop of glue, squish it, and then squish it. Kind of look like a little sunflower seeds going on there. So we're just going to go round and around. Until we fill the rest of this sunflower in. And the color is phenomenal. The color is fabulous. Like I said, you are going to need 2 sheets of this. You're not going to use all 2 sheets. You'll have a couple pieces left over. But if you plan on making more than one, maybe that little bit of leftover will get you the second one without having to do another one. Just add your glue and squish them in there. So we have about 3 more to add. We're just going to keep going and squishing. Get it in there. Squish it up. Mine keeps sticking together. I keep wanting to glue 2 in. Last one. We have one little hole there that I could stick one in. So we're going to add the glue. This one, for the last one, I'm kind of going to fold up a little bit and get it in there. Just so I don't have to burn my fingers and get glue all over the place. Kind of just folded it up a little bit. Voila! We have the inside of our sunflower done. Look how adorable the inside came out. Now listen, here's what I did to my petals. Got glue on my fingers, but I took my petals and I crumbled them a little bit. It is paper bag, so be careful. I just gave them a little crunch. Now, if you don't like the look of the back side of the paper bag, you can always paint the other side of your paper bag yellow if you want. I don't mind the look of my paper bag. So I kind of crumbled my petals. Now I'm just going to work and fluff them out a little bit. Do you see how pretty that made that look though by crumbling a little bit? All you got to do is crumble a little bit. And if you don't have glue on your fingers, you'll be able to fix your petals. If you don't have glue on your fingers, just crumbling and straightening them out if I crumbled them too much and they got all messed up. I just went for that little bit of a messy, old, primitive look is what I did. It looks so much better with them crumbled. Just give it a little crumble. And if you want, you can add a little hang tag on them that say sunflowers. It's going to be totally up to you. This one I put a little hang tag that says sunflowers. Voila, look, you can make yourself some beautiful, amazing, primitive sunflowers with paper bags and cardboard. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. And I'm also on Facebook, Silver Farmhouse. Thanks for watching.